Amanda here from createyourfuture.co. So today we have Katie joining us. Hi, Katie.
Hey everyone.
Hey guys, as you know, Katie is a coach here at Create Your Future, and we have an amazing success story video for you today. It's about how to make someone instantly crazy about you. So we're also going to talk a lot about once you get your manifestation, what do you do to maintain it? Because a lot of the times, and I've been guilty of this myself in the past, is you get there, then we just kind of, let everything start bothering us. So we're going to give you some tips on how we can keep, focused on our, manifestation to keep it going, because let's be honest, it's not just a do your intentions till you get it kind of thing, right? So welcome, Katie.
Thank you. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry, one thing before I
No,
forget. There is intentions at the end of the video. So please, now take it away, Katie.
figure it out. So yeah, this was a success story with a client that we not only got an awesome manifestation of him being crazy about her, but she got to tap into a version of him that told her everything she wanted to hear after I think it was like a year of no contact. And really what she did, and what I'm sure you all are learning to do, is had these mental conversations with the version of him that was already crazy about her. Like, she had to completely focus on this version of him that was so into her, adored her, loved everything about her, wanted everything to do with her, and she had to hear it all over again. She had to feel in the moment, through intending this, feeling it right, that he was all about her. And what that allowed her to do is not only focus on that version of him that's already totally crazy about her, but then he showed up, he did the FaceTime call and really just showered her with praise and compliments and love and everything she intended during our session. So it was so amazing to see that result. And more importantly, for her to just get the satisfaction of like the version of her SP, the version of your SP that's crazy about you really does live within you. But you do need to persist. You need to have those internal conversations or intentions and be so focused only on that version, because only you can generate that version. Like, they have no free will. If you want them to be obsessed with you, to be crazy about you, to be all about you, you need to activate that version of them. Like, only you can do it. They can't do it for you.
Exactly. And how we do that is through our intentions and our mental diet. For instance, I was just this morning, I was, something's like, well, I'm moving and there's like, a bunch of things in my life that need to be done in my personal life. And I was actually having a conversation with somebody in my head, and it wasn't going so good, of something that hasn't even happened yet. And I'm already upset. The person's not even anywhere to be seen. We haven't even had this conversation yet. It hasn't even come up, but I've somehow, time traveled into the future, and I'm having a really bad, conversation with this person that's upsetting me because I'm not getting what. And it's about stopping those conversations. And if you're not aware of your thoughts, how I caught it this morning was, it's how I felt. I was starting to get really upset, and I was like, wait a minute. I'm like, hold on, let's bring me back to the moment. Okay, like, I'm at home. Okay, I'm alone. I'm like, why am I upset? Oh, okay, it's my thoughts. What thoughts am I having? I'm like, oh my goodness. I'm like, I'm totally worried about something that hasn't even happened yet. And it's probably not going to happen as long as I shift where my thoughts are going right now. But we've got to catch those inner conversations. And if you're not aware of what they are, check in with your feelings. Your feelings will tell you what's going on up here, right?
Yeah, and the more you do this work, and like, I know one of the first sessions with this one client, she was like, when I first have people go into like, let's, have an inner conversation with this person, they always feel weird about it. And then she started doing it, and it was the old version of him. And he just started fighting with her. And I was like, see, it was always happening. And I was like, now let's focus on what loves you. And it does. It actually comes in surprisingly clear, especially I think in coaching sessions, because it's super focused. But she was able to get this version of him that was like, I miss you. Like, I love you. Like, what are you doing? Let me back in. And because she started having that conversation, and then Neville says, like, if you want to see it on the outside, you have to hear it on the inside. So only because she focused on that was she able to finally push out that version instead of the old one that kept fighting with her and sounded terrible. Like, I was like, oh, let's get a new version. And then it showed up. And the one thing she described and what clients have been saying is like, it really does, not only do they repeat back the inner conversations that you have with them, but they do feel like this brand new person, but like they've also been in there the whole time. And as you start to realize that, they'll remember like, oh my God, he was like that in the beginning. Like, before I pushed out all this other stuff, like, this is how the person was. Like, they were perfect. And now that you're conscious of it, they'll actually stay that way if you continue to push them out that way.
Exactly. Oh, exactly. And you know what? That's what it is. It's continuing it. So, you know, it's not that it takes as much effort in the like later on as in the beginning. And I kind of look at it like it's sort of like this for me. Okay. Like, so I'll use my relationship as an example. When I first met Andrew, there was a lot of intentions that had to fly because I needed to create the whole entire story, the whole entire version of him that I wanted him to be, the concept of who I wanted to be with him, and all of it. And then once I created that, and then we got to this place where we moved in together and everything was fine, and we had, you know, understandings. I had understandings of things that I've already created, that already manifested, that I already got evidence for. I was, you know, you kind of, you know, you fly along just nicely. But then all of a sudden, right, you know, up here starts to go a little bit, you know, start, you know, stop catching a few thoughts, and then something you don't like manifest, and then you've got to kind of get back on it again and do it. So it's a constant, you know, keeping on top of it, because sure, one negative thought may not actually do anything. Two negative thoughts may not do anything. But all of a sudden, next thing you know, you're a little bit spiraling out. You've had like 10 or 20, and all of a sudden something shows up. You've got to catch it right away instead of dwelling and propelling and perpetuating it further and further. You've got to get back on, do the maintenance, right? So, you know, sometimes it'll be great, you know, and you're saying, oh, it's all great, it's all great. And then all of a sudden you find, you know, somebody's complaining about their boyfriend and something slips about yours. And next thing you know, right, we're back down, right? So, you know, it's about keeping on, and you don't always have to do as many intentions as you would when you first create or change a situation, but you would, you know, if something starts to slip, right? So maintaining is so incredibly important, right?
Yeah. And that's like, you know, part of the mental conversations, or when you're in the relationship, right? So once you get the manifestation, or even while you're still creating it, if you want them to be crazy about you, you also want to think about like, what things would they say to me, right? If they were crazy about me, and like have those internal conversations like within all the time about like, they're crazy about how I dress, about how I talk, they're crazy about the music I love, they're crazy about, I don't know, all the stupid, adorable things I do, like whatever it is, and keep
Yeah.
that going. And when you find yourself noticing the lack or focusing on what's not there, replace it, revise it, you know, have again that conversation with them about, again, just something they love about you. Like replace it, invest your energy into the version of them you want only, and that lack version of them will dissipate finally.
Exactly. You know, and that brought something to mind. Okay. So one thing is, you know, like you said, is get clear on what being crazy about you looks like, because,
Yeah.
you know, it's not just enough. Like one day I created that Andrew chases me, and he chased me up the driveway, and that's not what I meant, but that's what I got. Okay. And then he even made sure, okay, because the universe is wonderful like this. He even made it a point to say, I'm chasing you. Like, yeah, I can see that. Like, weird. Anyway, so, you know, but that was and it was about the time when we were doing videos on how to get him to chase you, right? Now, the other thing, right, that I want to put out there is to trust yourself and your intentions. And how do I mean this is okay, so for instance, and I've used this example before, it's the clearest one I have. So I intended that somebody would be really amazing and, you know, talk to me about business and help me with business and help me with my business. And then when that manifested, I made it mean that they thought I wasn't good enough and I didn't know what I was doing. Okay. So we've got to trust our intentions and trust what shows up as it was a good intention, because there's a classic example where they did something and it was totally what I intended out of good-heartedness, but then I made it mean something completely different and got completely upset about it. Okay, it's almost like, you know, it is just like intending someone buys you chocolates and then they buy you chocolates and then you get upset at them because they're trying to make you fat. Okay, like you know, we've got to, you know, trust what shows up as it is good-hearted and assume it was what we wanted. Now, there's nothing wrong with saying, okay, you know what, I did intend that, you know, people would help me with this, but now I realize that I don't like it. That's fine. You can change it. Okay. But when you're reacting in those moments, remember, you created it somehow. And if you didn't create it out of like, you know, maliciousness towards yourself, right, then they're not doing it maliciously towards you, right? Most likely we've just got, you know, the meaning or the assumption of where it's coming from wrong, because everybody's just out there reflecting back your thoughts, you know. And that's the thing, right? It happens all the time. Like I have thoughts, right, and I don't like my thought, and then all of a sudden someone reflects it back to me and I'm like, you know. Of course they did, right? Like, you know. So, like that may happen too, but to remember that you've created it, and not to stick it to the person and say, okay, that's it. That was their idea. It came out of nowhere. They're the ones that made it up. They're never going to change, right? You get what I'm saying? If we realize that it's as fluid as changing our thoughts, that them saying yes or no is as easy as us going, they're going to say yes, they're going to say no. Like, then we bring the power back to us. It's when we give away the power and we don't think we have any power, and they're doing it on their own accord. Well, if they're doing it on their own accord and it has nothing to do with us, well, then guess what? We can't change it. They have to change it. But they can't change it until we change it on the inside, right?
We're the only ones that can do it. And I think the one thing I try to remind my clients is like, okay, everyone in your world is a loving being. Like, that's my belief. Everyone's a loving being and wants to love you. And the one that you love loves you the most, right? They're the one kind of waving in the 4D, like, yo, bring me in. Stop, projecting or putting these like sticky notes of like just terrible behavior on me. Take it all off. And at the core, I think almost every time you'll find the most loving being that's loved you the whole time. Right? But for whatever reason, we have thoughts of not being good enough, not being loved, like not being worthy of someone being crazy about you. We have to let all that go, which is why like discovering you're the creator of the reality is the coolest thing with an SP, because you have to discover that you are amazing, like you're divine, you're doing all of this, like you're worthy of everything. Like there's so much self-love, and even better, there's so much like other love of like the world is also here just to like love you and just be all about you. Yeah.
This is it. And you know what? I was just thinking this morning, my relationship with Andrew is probably the biggest thing in my life that reminds me of everyone as you pushed out. That and the YouTube comments. Between those two, like, yeah, pretty much everything's covered. Right? You know what I mean? Well, everybody constantly does. I'm pretty aware of my thoughts, and it's so funny when you just keep getting them back, it's like, all I got to do for a minute, just sit and things will be reflected back to me, right? So, it's about being forgiving yourself and others. So,
There's never anything personal. Like they just have no free will to act just outside of what you tell them or expect them to act like. They literally,
I love it. Yeah.
Like their SP will complain that they feel trapped. I'm like, yeah, you're trapped. I'm in this terrible person's body. Like focus on the good one. Focus on the one that you want so they can like feel free and just love you the way they want to love you.
Exactly. So I think the biggest thing here, is about getting clear on what you want. So you're not going to be wishy-washy, right? Having those inner conversations to really focus on who it is you actually want to show up, and focus on, maintaining, like, it's not, okay, I got it, I'm done. No, you keep on it, right? You got to keep on those thoughts and, watch your reactions and the meanings that you're giving other things, right? And those are some really important points. And of course, you know what? Katie never fails to give us some amazing intentions. So we're going to wrap this up with some awesome intentions. So yes, exciting. Everyone get your pen and paper.
Okay, so these ones are really intended to, wherever you are in your manifesting process, to persist. Persist. There is a version of them that's crazy about you, but you are the only one that can bring them to life by persisting. So these are going to help you. Okay. I intend to already give thanks because it's done. You have the desire, it's already done. I intend to get my desires no matter what because they are done. I intend to release all fear, doubt, and indecision. I intend that I assume only that what is happening. Oh, sorry about that, guys. I intend to assume that what is happening is bringing it all to me. So positive assumptions about everything that's happening is for you. Everything's for you. I intend to know whatever happens, it's all in my favor. I always get the best outcome. I intend to know I am unstoppable in achieving my desires. It's a promise. I intend to know it already exists, and by selecting it through my thoughts, I will experience it. I intend my future is now my present. I intend nothing holds me back. Old thoughts come up just to change. They have no real impact now. I intend everything that is happening for me, and it brings my desires to me. I intend to love and trust the power of my thoughts. I intend to focus only on my true power, which is the power of my thoughts, my imagination to create. I intend to exercise my true power to achieve all I desire. I intend to invest in my infinite power and create an endless world of love. I intend to invest my thoughts in only what I want. I intend to invest my energy into only what I want. I intend to redeem all misused energy and transform it into invested thoughts. So that's any negative thoughts or dwelling. We just redeem it. We bring it back and put it into what we want only. I intend to focus on my noblest, loveliest thoughts. I intend to become the me that is infinite love and infinite power. I intend to turn within for all that I wish to create, knowing it's done and it will be pushed out. I intend to self-persuade because I am the only one I need to convince. I intend to operate my power because only I can do it.
Amazing. I love those. Those are absolutely awesome.
Thanks.
I was lost in them. I was going on in my head with some more of them. Amazing. So guys, if you are looking for any extra help and some coaching, Katie is available to help you. She's really good. All our clients are getting really, really good results. So, definitely check out the link in the description below. Thank you so much for being here today, Katie. Amazing.
Thank you, guys.
And guys, thank you for liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.